Hey YouTube, afternoon. Figured I'd do another follow-up video 2 years later on my Shelterlogic shed. Basically it's holding up well. I'm not gonna, overall it's still a great purchase. I paid $200 for this one. This is a 10 by 10 by 8 or 10 by 10 by 10, something like that. But overall it's a great purchase. Again, I have it in, from what I've heard, some people have issues with UV breakdown. So what they've done is they throw tarps over them so like a sacrificial tarp. So they'll throw an extra bit of tarp on it so the sun breaks down the tarp, and then you just replace the tarp, which is cheaper than the canopy. But mine, because it's a lot of shade and pretty wind sheltered, like, you know, I have pretty much ideal conditions over here because it doesn't get a lot of sun and there's a lot of trees which break the wind. But my one complaint, so as you can see, there's no damage to it. Let me just give you a quick once around here. There's no damage to it on any of the sides. Everything's in good shape. The logo's worn a little bit. But my one complaint right now, that is kind of a big pain in the ass, and I don't know why it's doing it. It's not like I'm rough with it, but this zipper, ooh, there's a hole there. Didn't notice that. I don't know where that hole is from. Must have whacked it with something. But my one complaint is this right zipper. Now, I think what happened was, if you can, you know, this is what I think happened, and I'll tell you my recommendation. So this zipper keeps popping, not loose, not necessarily loose, but it is difficult to get it to zip properly. It wants to go wonky. So, I mean, if I jam my finger in there, it's gonna go happen. So what I think happened was, you know, because I jacked on it pretty tight to keep it tight, I think what happened is, over time it got a little too tight. And then I tried to zip it a couple times and probably, you know, screwed something up on it. And then it was getting tight, so what I did was I put some grease on it, and I think the grease put some debris in the zipper. So I think that's what screwed it up. I think the tightness and the fact that I put a little bit of grease to try to help it. But that's my issue. So I basically fight with this zipper to get it to close. If I try to just go straight up and down, it won't zip. It'll be cockeyed and it'll just keep breaking. And so what I've learned is, if I grab the inner, you know, the inner tab, so you have your outer tab and then there's an inner one. If I kind of pull it from the inner one and, you know, keep it taut and pull it out, it tends to work a little better. But I do have to fool with it to get it to shut. So that's my biggest complaint with this one. But overall, I've been very happy with it, and I think if I was to buy it again, I would just, you know, be careful with it. So as far as the other one I have no complaints on. It's been great. I've kind of learned what about the zippers. There's a little less force on it, and what I do is I pull the sides sometimes just to make sure it's not as tight. This one does have a lot more sun exposure, but it's been holding up well. I mean, it has sun exposure literally only on this side here. So, but overall it's been well. And overall I can say that, you know, because of my, you know, my situation of where they are and how I'm using them, they've been fantastic for me. So overall, it's still a thumbs up. And my only issue is, if I have to go replace that door on the other one, it's not cheap. So I don't know why the zipper keeps busting, but I have my theories, like I said. But I would recommend always making sure there's not a lot of, pull these and make sure they're tight when you're going to zip them. Make sure they're, you know, there's a lot of slack in them. But overall, I'm good. Thanks guys, thanks for watching.